Okay guys, 24. Yeah, at this flight we're going to do a flight test again. I'm ready to do the long distance flight. I guess I've already practiced so many times radio navigation and PilotEdge. So let's just keep on the pace and get to that next stage of training as soon as possible to talk with ADC. So even though PilotEdge isn't live right now, in just a few hours, I guess. We're just going to do a regular uncontrolled airport departure to another uncontrolled airport, just to again demonstrate navigation skills and pilotage skills. And then as a last part of this chapter, we're going to do a long distance cross-country flight by night, and that completes then the first stage of my training, uncontrolled airspace flying, including all the stuff that I needed to learn in terms of procedures and everything else. So then we can move on to the next stage, which includes or covers Delta Airport, which is going to be very much fun. So today a flight test, a long distance flight up to the north. I hope you enjoy.
I'm passing through 500 Sherlock, 715. 715, 134.125.
Okay, so where are we? Well, we are at AV. As you might remember, if you've catched up with the previous episodes, let me show you guys already in the flight test mode. As you can see, this is AV. So we are in the east of the regular, more congested airspace of LA. So just exploring this area. I mean, this is still part of the PilotEdge coverage area, service area, which is pretty cool. So we're currently at AV, uncontrolled airport, and what I plan to do is just to go up north all the way to Las Vegas. Never been there, also part of the ORBX scenery, so I'm curious to see what it looks like. And there's an airport here underneath these Bravo airspace shells, which are highly moderated by air traffic controllers, obviously, here of Las Vegas. Boulder City is a uncontrolled airport beneath that shell that we're going to fly to. And we don't need to chat with ATC because, let me see, what's the floor? 6,500 in this bit, 7,000 in this bit, 4,500, 6,000. So we can easily fly beneath these shells, these Bravo shells, these blue sectors here, and land on Boulder City, very close to the LA area. Perhaps we might even spot Las Vegas when we arrive at Boulder City, which might be cool. Mountainous terrain, rivers, we cross various airports. So this is perfect for if we got any engine trouble, we can just easily divert to any of these uncontrolled airports. In terms of weather, also just a general overlook here. If you look at the flight categories here, winds calm, 10 statute miles, clear skies. So I guess it's going to be a perfect flight here. If you look, I need to switch my overlay here. Let me do that first. Boom, as part of the flight test. It's currently just starting here. The day is just starting here at AV, so which might give us some nice scenic views outside. So as the day starts here at AV, we're gonna depart and head over to the north in the direction of Las Vegas. So that's the idea. I'm really looking forward to this flight. Hey, Dad, welcome. Ah, cool. You're at Grandma right now. Oh, that's cool. Well, say hi to Grandma. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is just go through the briefing just one more time in more detail, like we do as part of all our flights. And also get a more closer look at the weather. So AV, as I mentioned, what are the runways? I have forgot already. Right pattern 01, so that means 35 on the other end, I guess. No, that's silly of mine. Let me just have a check. AV, new tab. AV, so traffic pattern altitude 800 feet AGL, and let me see, this is the runway, so that's 01 and 19er, obviously. Yeah, so I guess it makes sense for us to depart 01 to go up north, depending on the drone traffic that might be here. And anything else that we need to be concerned of? No, not really. So that's pretty basic. So I guess 01 would be our departure runway. Hey Daniel, welcome on board. So we're going to depart this way and then go up north. Well, as you can see, there are some MOAs here. Turtle MOA that we're going to cross, or at least that's what it seems like. Well, Turtle MOA has a floor of 10,000 feet. So if we just go a little bit to the west here, then a button pops up here, the LA chart. And then I can go to the legenda and show you, as I did several times ago, I guess also in the previous episode. So Turtle MOA here are standing at 11,000 even. So that means that we can easily underfly, just fly beneath it. So that's no problem at all. So let's hit the world VFR chart. Yeah. So we can easily fly underneath this Turtle MOA, not a problem at all. There's a radar, a VOR radio beacon here that we can just pick up. Also, in terms of PilotEdge, there's a river going up north that we can catch and just follow as we go up north. A lot of uncontrolled airports on all sides of this river, so that's also quite handy to get some visual references while we are flying. Always good to combine those, not only radio navigation but also visual references to make sure you're ensure that you're on the right track. Then in terms of airspace, we're going to hit or overfly probably Laughlin Bullhead International Airport, a Delta airspace with a ceiling up to 3,200. So we need to overfly that, or simply just go left or right of it. I guess we just can overfly it. There are some terrain. You can see here 5,600. So it's going to be a nice flight. This is some kind of a valley where this river flows in between these mountains. So it's going to be a scenic flight, I guess. And depending on the altitude, what's the altitude of this airport, for example, 818 feet. So yeah, we don't, it doesn't really concern us in terms of elevation. We could just easily fly in between these mountain ranges, which might be cool to do. Eventually we need to go over them at this place when we reach Boulder or the Las Vegas area. So let's have an idea here. This is 5,000 feet. So I guess this might be, oh here, 3,500, so 4,000 feet that we need to remain clear of that mountain ridge. So we are very subtly flying to the west, as you can see. So that means even numbered VFR altitudes. So 4,500 might be a good altitude for us to fly on. And especially because Boulder City is just behind this mountain ridge, we don't need to fly up that much to clear this terrain. Otherwise, we need to circle down. And also, we need to be very sure that we don't crash into these Bravo sectors, right? So this starts at 7,000, so that's our ceiling, because we cannot fly through it. We could if we could contact Las Vegas, but we're not going to, because we're just gonna arrive Boulder City here. We can just easily fly underneath it. So 4,500 would be our cruising altitude. A lot of terrain here. We need to make sure that we don't fly into it, but that's okay. Following the river. This is as you can see here, this is a national recreational area. I guess there are no other limitations there. Sometimes there are some depictions saying that we cannot fly lower than, well, X feet, 3,000 feet or so. But I don't see any of those depictions here, so I don't know how that might be relevant for us. So I guess we can just easily overfly the Victor 237. So that's the general idea of the flight. So not a lot of stuff going on, some VFR, radio navigation, we've got some PilotEdge going on, we're going to cross various airports, so it's going to be quite scenic, which is cool. And obviously the Las Vegas area. I'm very curious to see how ORBX has created that space. It's going to be awesome. And we're just underneath that Bravo shell, is also kind of cool. So that's going to be our flight. So we discussed airspaces, we discussed airports, diversions. Let's have a closer look at the weather. I guess it's going to be fine, but just as part of every flight, we're going to have a look. So again, here the general weather, as you can see, higher pressure area is now moving more to the west. I've flown yesterday, episode 23. And then that high pressure area was a little bit more to the east. But again, no low pressure areas here nearby, so that generally indicates good weather, good flying weather. No precipitation forecasts in our area, which is good. Currently we are at 14 Zulu, so this is 06 Zulu. There was some IMC and VFR, marginal VFR conditions in our area. And as you can see here at 18 Zulu, there's still marginal VFR weather. So even though we have found some VMC indications on the sectional chart, here, current weather conditions, you can see green, 10 statute miles clear skies. We can see that east of us, let me hop back to the right tab here, that one, there is marginal VFR weather. So we need to make sure that that is not moving towards us. I guess not. It seems like in the same position as it's 06 Zulu. And we're flying a little bit west of that area. But, well, we need to make sure that that we stay clear of any bad weather. Graphical air mats. This is a 3-hour forecast. So 12 Zulu. I don't want to be 12 Zulu. I want to be at 15, which is more closer to our current time. Well, again, no graphical air mats here in our area. Some IMC at the coast, but doesn't concern us. No convective SIGMATs, so no thunderstorms or that kind of bad stuff. Ceilings only on the coast, so we've got no ceilings here, so that means clear skies. We don't need the skew plot. We don't have any ceilings, and we are not interested in calculating the cloud tops. So we're going to skip that. Turbulence, not a big problem. Visibility, well, perhaps there is some visibility near our place, a little bit south of us, but not anything that goes into marginal VFR or IMC conditions. I guess here near the coast it's more marginal VFR in terms of visibility. Looped satellite, you can see clouds much more north in the San Francisco area. Infrared one, so you can see the thicker clouds are over here. So not a concern to us, also north of us, so that doesn't concern us. Freezing levels, this is at 13 Zulu. What was the current Zulu? 14. So can we pick 16? Yeah, 16. Yeah, so again, we are, I guess, about in the darker green, orange color. So 13,000 or 11,000, that's where the freezing levels are. But we're not going to fly that much, that high up, so we are good there. And lastly, radar, again, not a concern to us, which is good. NOTAMs, let's have a look. Whoa, that's not what I would like to do. Yeah. P20. Oh, P20. That's where we are currently. That's AV and Boulder City. Few NOTAMs. Boom. No NOTAMs, no NOTAMs. Well, let's clear. Okay, moving on. VFR flight plans. So, Papa Hotel, Tango India Mike. We are a Cessna 182. We've got a Alpha equipment. Hello, Alpha. There's Alpha. Well, let's pick 120. Cruising speed doesn't really matter. P20. Arriving airport. Kilo Bravo Vector Uniform. Cruising altitude 4,500. Alternate. Yeah. Let me see what kind of alternate makes sense. I guess somewhere here. Let's pick needles. Keyed. Keyed, route of flight. I'm not going to put that in as a VFR flight, and remarks are not needed to. File, flight plan. Boom. Okay, so we've got our VFR flight plan filed, and that means that we are ready to go. Yeah, in terms of fuel, let's have a look in the cockpit soon to have an idea of gallons. Unfortunately, I cannot use ForeFlight here because of that Wi-Fi stuff that was interrupting the Twitch stream. ForeFlight automatically calculates your fuel burn based on your inputted flight plan, but well, SkyVector cannot, or perhaps it can using this flight plan stuff. I see a burn tab here. So perhaps in the next episode I can just put that in here and just see whatever happens. Because it seems like SkyVector can calculate that fuel burn for us too. Anyway, sip of water. But I guess with fuel relatively full tanks we can easily make this trip, so that's cool. So that concerns our briefing. So let's head back to the cockpit. You can see it's already getting more light, more daytime, more daylight here seeping in, which is good. What we're going to do is do a cold and dark check. So first, seat belts. Oh no, seatbelt doesn't really, because we need to do our walk around. Release my seatbelts, that's silly of mine. Cold and dark check. So first off, control wheel lock is removed, park and brake set, life vest, fire extinguisher, window, ELT set to auto, flaps up, levers are set, scowl is closed, left set, transponder, standby, alternate is in, avionics off, beacon on, batteries off, ignition switch off. Okay, that's the cold and dark check. So now let's do our exterior check in terms of lights. So batteries on. You can see here the gallons that we have. Well, that's plenty, which is good. And then we turn on the landing lights, strobe lights, nav lights. Quickly, I'm going to remove my pitot tube cover and also just the wheel chocks. So now we can turn on the pitot heat, and then we can move outside to have a look if those are actually working. Taxi lights, landing lights, position lights, strobe lights, on the other wing 2, beacon. It is working, tail is working, and I would like to hear the stall warning, and I would like to go to the pitot tube. And it's warm, cool. So those are working. So landing lights, there is stuff off, pitot heat off, avionics on, beep working. Let's turn down the flaps, see if they come down in sync. Seems like they do. Let's do a flight control test. Down, down, and oh, feet on the pedals. Whip, whip, yep, seems to work too. Set as a set, annunciator panel. Seem to work. Thank you for following, Captain Cripple. Welcome on board. Hope you enjoyed this channel. Let me continue here. Check that. Blah, 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 blah. We've got enough fuel. Okay, cool. Avionics off, batteries off. That means we're ready to do the exterior walk around. So there we go. Baggage door closed. Tail tie down is removed. Connected, connected. Seems good to me. Connected, connected, connected. Yeah, it's good. Wiggle is good. Flaps, good. Connecting rod, everything is connected there. Ailerons, connected. Tie down. Fuel vent is clear. Chocks removed, inflated. Fuel, good color, no contamination. In the tanks, enough gallons is good. Static air is clear. Drain in the nose, good color, no contamination. Let's have a look at the propeller blades, if there are no dents in them. No, so that looks good. Intakes, are they clear? They are clear. Air filter looks good. Oil, well, we just replenished that in the previous episode, so enough quarts and good color. Static air is clear. The other tank, enough gallons. Drain, good color, no contamination. Wheel chuck's removed, good inflation, tie down is removed, fuel vent is clear, ailerons connected, 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 connected. And the wiggle seems good, connected, everything looks good here too. So that completes the exterior walk around, and we can conclude that we don't need to visit the maintenance hangar, even though the doors are open at AV. So we can then move on with the before engine start checklist. Well, the first part of that one is debriefing. Well, again, a short abbreviated one. Always rehearse what you're going to do. So switch. So one last time, we are currently at AV. We're going to depart runway 101 up north. Turtle Moa isn't a concern to us. We're going to fly at 4,500. There's some terrain here up ahead, so I guess it makes sense to just follow the river and get to that Gene Wash airport first. PilotEdge style, so then we go move upwards and we can fly inbound to, oh, that's not what I would like to do there, to Needles VOR, so we can just fly inbound. We're gonna again follow this river, which is not gonna be any problem, I guess, and then we're gonna fly in this valley with mountains to the left and right of us. It's gonna be scenic, I hope, a lot of airports we're gonna view on top. We're gonna overfly Laughlin Bullhead International Airport, again flying up north, 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 until we fly here. We cross this mountain range with a few hundred feet to spare, and fly under this Bravo shell and hit Boulder City. What are the runways there? We didn't check those. Boulder City, open, next step. Are the runways long enough? Let's have a look. 45, well, that's plenty, so that's good. Anything else? Elevation is 2200. Well, there's no traffic pattern altitude mentioned, I guess. Is it here? Elevation, I don't know where SkyVector is mentioning it, so I guess it's just 1000 feet AGL as usual. We've got two runways to choose from, 0927 and 1533. Well, I guess 33 would be our choice, because we can just do a kind of like a straight in, right? Let me have a closer look at the lengths. This is a shorter runway, still enough for us to land on, so I guess that would be fine. The 33. Medium intensity, no, and there's a right pattern for runway 15, and 3 is just a left. Okay, so that means we can just do it like this, or let me see, we can just go from this direction a little bit to this direction and then enter the 45 and then whoop, whoop, and then we get in. That's an option, but it seems a little bit exaggerated, because we can just do an easy straight in. What we could also do, which would also be safe because we don't know what the other traffic is doing, we could overfly the airport, then go to the left, right teardrop, so we can enter the left downwind and of 33 and then enter. That's also a procedure that we can use. Perhaps that is a safe one, just to have a closer look at the airport, because if there is any drone traffic, I would like to avoid that. So that could also be a procedure that we can carry out. But well, we can just see when we arrive there to see what makes the most sense, or where we what might be more fun to do. Okay, so that completes our briefing, or abbreviated briefing. Yeah, so we can do our before engine start. So now, fasten my seatbelts. Closing the door. There we are, and locked. Lights are all on, or beacon light is on, that's good. Fuel tanks to both, cowl flaps open. Fuel 1/4 inch open. Let's, oh, not the generator, but the batteries on. And let's prime the engine. 1, 2, 3, cut off, fuel pump off. And let's have a look if there's no one outside. No people flow. No. And parking brakes are set right. Yeah. So clear prop. There we go. Full mixture. 1200 RPM. Oil pressure is slowly coming up, which is good. Generator on. Avionics on. Flaps up. Let's lean for ground operations here. So something like that. Reset to 1000 RPM. And there we are. Transponder 2 on. And then we can set our frequencies. Okay, everything looks good. Yeah, frequencies. So first off, the CTEF of AV, right? So let's have a closer look. It most likely is already set, but let's make sure. This is AWAS, not a concern to us, and 122.725. 122.725. 122.72, as you can see in the COM1 active frequency. And the AWAS we cannot pick up, and AWAS is not implemented in Flight Sim, unfortunately. We could, however, have a look at another ADAS that we could pick up. For example, this is also AWAS. A sauce, needles. Okay, so that's 128.325. So COM2, 12, what was it? 128.32. Yeah, so that's set in the COM2. We can already have a listen to see if we can pick it up. No, I guess because of the mountains it's too far away. So once we are in the air, we're going to pick that one up. COM1 standby. Well, we're going to overfly these fields, so well, we can just tune in if we'd like to. Not really that necessary. Also, we could tune into tower here of Laugh and Bullhead, but again, PilotEdge isn't live, so chances are we're not going to pick up any chatter there. I guess we can just switch to, are these shared? What are these CTEFs? This is 122.9, 123.0, 122.7. Yeah, so we need to be switching all the time. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. We can do so while we are flying. We're just going to overfly these airports easily, so that's fine. Okay, so perhaps we can just set the CTEF of our destination airport, 122.7. I'm going to do that right now, 122.7 in the standby COM1. So that's radio. Not a lot going on there. Radios, in terms of navigation, I mean. We've got needles there. This is just visual referenced. Yeah, so needles, 115.2. So nav1, 115.2. Swap. 115.2 checked. So what kind of inbound course are we expecting? Well, it's an outbound of 135. So 135 at the bottom. 135, something like that. So an inbound of 312, something like that. Okay, so that's that course from this way. Oh, you can already see 320. That Sky Vector is already telling us what direction we need to fly to get to needles there. And then from here, it's going to be an outbound of 331, as you can see over here. So pretty basic. And again, we can just follow the river here, the Colorado River, all the way up to Las Vegas. There's also a VOR here, I guess. Yeah, this is a VOR. Let's tune that one in too for our second leg. This is the Boulder or something like that. Where is it? Boulder City VOR, 116.7. So let's pick the nav2 there. nav2, what was it? 116.7. Swap. And again, looking at Sky Vector, what was I saying? This would be a course of 331. So 331, something like that. So we can just first fly the nav1 and then the nav2. So that's good. Then the altimeter, we can just set it to the current airport elevation, which then gives us the current altimeter. So let's have a look again at SkyVector. Go to AV, 458 feet. 458 feet. Well, it was very close. Something like that. So the current altimeter setting would be something like 3031. Okie doke. We're going to depart runway 01, so that's already set. Is our compass, our heading indicator, synced? It's set to 3, it's 27 or 28 something. 28 something. Yeah, 28 something. Okay, so that's checked. We've got an airspeed indication, which means winds. Well, if you've watched the previous episode, you know that there was a very strong crosswind here at AV. So chances are we still got that crosswind as part of this, I guess, this area. So it's going to be tough, I guess, departing here from AV again. So hoping that I will demonstrate proper skills here. Yeah, anything else? We've got enough gallons. And we've got everything tuned in, transponder set to on, all our frequencies are set. Yeah, so that's that completes our after engine start checks. Anything else? Yeah, I would like to again take a sip of water here. Okie doke. I'm ready to go. Hope you guys are too. Parking brakes. Oh, now let me have an idea. 010, so that's that direction. Oh, already some drone traffic. Also departing 01, so that's cool. We need to go that direction. I have no idea what the taxi diagram looks like. Can we just have a quick look here at SkyVector? Does it have a... No, it doesn't. Obviously it doesn't in an uncontrolled airport. Well, we'll just have a look. Parking brakes released. Brake check, those are working. Gonna make a left turn here, so looking at the turn indicator and slip indicator, those are working. There we go, guys. Engine is already warm, as you can see. Cylinder head temperature, oil temperature. There we go. So now I guess we've got a tailwind. The airspeed indication has removed it. It has been is gone, as you can see. And now we are going to taxi to the right. No traffic there. Sunrise. There we go. Should correct there for the wind. Wind is coming from the right, so we need to steer towards the wind. No need to pull or push on the yoke. There we go. Nice weather again, clear skies, or it seems like some few puffs. Very much looking forward to how ORBX has populated the Las Vegas area and all the airports that we're going to overfly. I guess it's going to be a nice flight. And again, this is a flight test, guys, so I'm not watching chat only after shutdown, so I can primarily focus on flying here. That's part of the all the flight tests that I'm doing. So please, if you notice anything that I'm doing wrong, or suggestions to improve my flying, or you've got questions or whatever, use the chat. There are also some others viewers online right now who are as or even more experienced than I am, that can and are willing to answer your questions too. So don't hesitate to use the chat anyway. But I'm only gonna watch your chat after shutdown. I'm gonna scroll back and answer any questions or pick up on any suggestions that you guys have made. Okay, coming up to the threshold. So we're going to do a run up there. power check. Here in the middle of the desert. Well, not really that in the middle. I guess AV also has a city nearby. I don't know. Okay, here we are. So now we're gonna get a tailwind, right? So now I'm removing the aileron correction. As a tailwind, you don't need to apply any yoke. And if you got a headwind by texturing, you need to push forward on the yoke, so dive under the wind almost. Here we are. Weird taxi. Weird taxi waste. Again, engine is already warm, so we are free to do our power check. And I guess we're gonna do that right here. Just to make sure that our spark plugs aren't fouled, as A2A Simulations does simulate that stuff. So here we are. Brakes, parking brakes, 1000, that's set. Okay, so our engine is already warm, so mixture full in, prop full in, fuel tanks are set to both, our cowl flaps are opened, windows are closed, which is okay. Here we go, 1800 RPM. There we go, sounds perfect, no annunciator messages, oil pressure is stable, everything looks good. So mag check, left looks good, both, right looks good, both. Prop, I'm gonna do only 2. Manifold pressure is coming up and I can hear the RPM decrease, so the governor is working. Also look at the oil pressure to see if there's a dip. And it resets. Cool, so the governor is working. Landing light on to see if the generator is working. Bloop, you can see a dip there, which is good. And finally, throttle stop. Full idle to see if the engine doesn't quit on us. Oil pressure is stable, no annunciator messages, everything seems perfectly fine. So our engine is in good shape. Good to know before we take off. And again, just to make sure, flight control test. Full deflection there, there, and there, and there. Awesome. We are ready to go, guys. So again, a briefing. We're going to take off 01 here, confirms on the heading bug. We're going to fly a little bit more up. Let me have a look at sky vector here. Boom. Yeah, it's straight out, really. So 01, 008 does sky vector say, and we're going to fly for our first reference the Gene Wash Airport, because we cannot overfly this mountain area. So just follow the river until we pick up the 320 radial inbound that we already set on the nav 1, as you can see, 321, and the frequency was, let's just double check because I made that mistake before, 115.2, and that is checked, 115.2. Okay, so we're ready to go. Landing lights on, strobe lights on, transponder set to altitude. Anything else? Mixture full in, cowl flaps are open, fuel tanks set. Yeah, we're ready to go. Windows are closed. Let's go. Let's make sure that there's no one on final. There's no one on the runway, but that other drone traffic might be nearby. Don't see any. AV traffic, Skyline Papa Hotel Tango and Mike is departing runway 01 for a straight out departure up to 4,500 AV. Again, being very wary of that crosswind. So now the crosswind is coming from the left, so using my left aileron here. It's gonna get tough, guys. Let's see if I can do a clean heading box set. Engine looks good. Slowly advancing the throttle. I guess I need to give a lot of rudder correction here. Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. Right rudder, right rudder. 60. And pull on that yoke. Should have slowly decreased that aileron deflection while I was gaining speed, but still, I recovered. Man, what a wind. Get to VY. I love the skyline. It really rockets up. There we go. Goodbye, AV. There's the river to the left of us. There's the mountain terrain there that we're gonna avoid. And there we go. So already getting a little bit more to a climb setting. So let's decrease throttle here, push on the yoke, get to in the green there in the manifold, something like that. RPM I'd like to set a little bit more low, 2200, something like that. And let's lean to get that EGT nicely high up, something like that. And let's stick to around 500 feet per minute climb. There's no airspace, no hurry for us to climb. Here we go. Well, we've got already a reading. VOR, the needles VOR. Oh. EGT nicely high up, great. And we can close the cowl flaps already, because we're already airborne. Enough air gets into the intakes of the engine, so there's a natural cooling there. And there we go. Landing lights off. AV traffic, Skyline Papa Hotel Tango, India Mike is leaving the traffic pattern area to the north, heading up to 4,500 AV. So, river in front of us, or left of us here, just underneath us, I guess. Look at this terrain, guys. Sunrise here. It's gonna be cool. So what I'm trying to do is just pass for this flight test, because I think I'm already ready to advance to the next stage of my training. Fingers crossed. And starting to chat with ADC. I'm really looking forward to that stuff. I feel that I have the mental space to do that. I mean, today I reminded myself of my first episode. I was having lunch and watching my my previous episode, one of my first episodes, just a few weeks ago. And man, how busy was I just managing the airplane. Just only thinking about ADC was already so daunting, and it's so cool to see that even in flight sim, after a few weeks of training, simulated training, you can actually develop these skills and this go through the same kind of learning curve, I guess, as real-world student pilots. So that's really encouraging. Also, as a vlog, just for me personally, to have a look at my first episodes and have an idea what I was, well, what my baseline was in terms of my starting point, my initial skill set. It's really very rewarding. Again, river here to the left. Let's spot that airport. Wow, look at this terrain, guys. It's awesome. Already having a closer look at the needle to fly inbound towards needles. Perfect weather here. Isn't this cool? This is so awesome. Engine is looking great, nicely high up EGT. Perhaps you can even get it a little bit more higher up, so leaning a bit. Cylinder head temperature is good. Still, because we are in a climb setting, the checklist says that we should actually open our cowl flaps, because it's still considered a full power set on. And as you can see, the cylinder head temperature now with closed cowl flaps, I mean, we're now in the upper third of the temperature, which is still good. and we're almost at our cruising altitude. So I'd rather have my cylinders warm than on the colder side. There comes the needle. Still curious to see where that airport is. Let's have a quick look at Sky Vector. Blah, 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 blah. Here we are. There it should be. Well, there's a lake there. Between the lake and the river. Between the lake and the river. River. Lake. So, there. There I see some scenery. We're just gonna overfly it. We're at our cruising altitude. So pushing on that yoke, allowing the airspeed to increase, and also getting my manifold to around 19, something like that. So let's fly this direction. As my airspeed increased, I noticed that my airplane likes to climb again. So now I'm gonna do some nose down trim. So again, I'm not trimming up right now, so I'm expecting that there will be a natural nose up tendency. There it is, because we are increasing in airspeed. Yeah, there it is. The airports. Almost centered there on the nav1. What's the distance? 33 nautical miles. No autopilot, just hands flying. Trimmed. Still 2200. 2300. No. 2200 RPM. Let's make that a little less. Just less wear and tear on the engine. We're not in a hurry here. Still, we're in a bit of a climb, so nose down. The desert of Southern California. Seems like there's a road going all the way to the lake there. Following that runway. Small ramp. I'm also very much looking forward, I guess, as the ending part of my first season. Thank you for following I Love Firefighters. Welcome on board, man. Very encouraging. Anyone who is looking, who hasn't followed the Uncertified Pilot, please do. It's very encouraging just to say hi. And also, each time when I fly, you get an instant email by Twitch saying Tim is online. Jump aboard. So... but I'm really looking forward, I guess, as the ending part of Season 1 of my private pilot license training program bit, to do a kind of a marathon around the ORBX Southern California service area of PilotEdge area. Like, for example, visiting all the Delta airports, or visiting all the uncontrolled airports, which are many, or all the private airports. Which might be cool. And let's lean a bit. Let's see if we can get that EGT even higher, more higher up. Gallons look good. Good oil pressure. Nicely trimmed. We're a bit off on that radial. Again, we can just follow the river. We're VFR, so we're absolutely free to do whatever. Which is cool. You can see an airport in the distance there. Some Vasi lights or Papi lights, something there. Which confirms, I guess, our briefing. Because we know that surrounding this river that we're gonna follow all the way up north, there are lots of uncontrolled airports here. I guess it's so cool to learn how to fly in this area. A lot of free space here. A lot of uncontrolled airports to choose from. So the interior of the Skylane, customized it myself using Photoshop. So I started with Flight Simulator 5, bought it with my dad. Still very vividly remember that night. He was already into flying, not a real world pilot, but he was into flying, and he saw that there was software available, and that led us to become flight simulator enthusiasts. So, well, initially in the default virtual cockpit textures of A2A Simulations, there's a operating manual here, but I changed it to the Flight Simulator 5 manual that I actually got here on my shelf, as I showed you guys in a few episodes before. Also put in here a picture of me flying a Piper Warrior, my first flight here. The co-pilot seat, this is me. There's the instructor. And around that time, I need to stick to my cruising altitude, guys. I'm losing. And also flying this river. Not really that radial. So we're directing in going in the right direction here. Also, by the way, there could be that Delta airport. Let me first check on that. No, it's Lake Havasu, I guess, because the Delta is after Needles, and we're not there yet. So that's actually an uncontrolled airport, but a big one. Anyway, get that climb going. Get back to 4,500. Anyway, so around that time, I was really considering becoming an airliner pilot, but it was kind of a funny story. Oh, I need to keep that climb going. So using Flight Simulator, I was getting more interested in aviation, using Flight Sim to get prepared for my actual real-world aviation training at home, so using real-world charts and, well, all that stuff. At that time there was no PilotEdge at all, so no ATCs, it was just basic flying, standard rate turns and that kind of stuff. Getting to know stalls and steep turns and, well. What was really fun was that as I grew older, I invited my best friends to come over and also, well, enjoy Flight Sim and just have a flight, and I explained to them how the instruments worked and well, so on. Until eventually I was designing entire flight training programs for them so I can teach them how to fly. So I made exams, I made check rides, I coached them while flying. They even got homework, which they really enjoyed, and me too. So I developed an interest in teaching, and that led me to eventually not become an airliner pilot, but become enroll for university college and become an educational designer, instructional designer. And now I'm in a PhD project in educational science, but still very much in love with aviation and also loving the training aspect of flying. That's also part of the spirit of uncertified pilot, I guess. Just my love for training. I love to learn stuff and to share it with you guys on Twitch. My gosh, that's a nice uncontrolled airport. I mean, initially I thought, well, uncontrolled airports are just boring strips, but because of ORBX's Southern California region scenery, this stuff is really getting interesting. There's also an uncontrolled airport over there, which is kind of like a bare strip. There's a small ramp there. I don't know if you guys can see on stream, but it seems very small. This one is much more fancy. Look at those hangars and stuff. Need to visit that. "16 nautical miles, looking at the DME there, at the bottom, until we reach Needles. So if we would fly this 310 radial inbound to Needles, we would actually fly over. Well, we have all the time in the world. It's a Sunday here, so let's just make a right turn here. No traffic. And just make a turn on top of that airport just to have a look at the ramp. We're curious, right? We're free to do so. Something like this, I guess, just to keep the airport a little bit to the left of me so we can peek down from my seat. There it is. Some hangars. You can see some airplanes, I guess. Very nice. So I guess that radio will now come in. Ah, there's traffic. There's drone traffic there. So let's make that turn. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Not climb that much. Ah, there it is. There's that traffic down. You can see some airplanes there. Very interesting. Also love the way that A2A Simulations, I guess it's A2A Simulations, I don't know for sure, increases the volume of the wind hitting the windshield. So actually by just looking to the left here, I can just listen to the wind. A lot of airplanes there. A bigger one here, wow. But just listening to the wind, you can have a general idea of what the speed is doing. Okay, let's continue. Scenery up ahead. Over here. Seems like a bridge. Let's have a look at Sky Vector. So we're currently here. Yeah, that's that bridge. Topok. Very near the Needles VOR. So that means that the VOR Needles is over there. Nice scenery. There's that other uncontrolled airport. Again, need to stick to my cruising altitude here. I'm not really that precise, and I think I should, just for the sake of training. And I guess the fix to that is just to more regularly check my altitude rather than just trim and let it go. Cylinder head temperature is looking good. EGT is nicely high up, so we have a best economical burn. Oil pressure is good, temperature is good, fuel flow, manifold, RPM. You could have a listen to ATIS, by the way, to get a current altimeter setting. Well, we already got that set. I thought 128.32. I have no idea what ATIS that was. I thought it was this one? No, that one. Yeah, it's Needles. 128.325. Yeah, so let's have a listen.
Kilo, Echo, Echo, Delta, automated weather observation, 1507, Zulu, wind 097 at 18.
Wow, 18.
Greater than 20 miles. Sky condition clear.
Clear, nice.
18 Celsius. Dew point -5 Celsius. Altimeter 3033.
Okay.
Kilo, Echo, Echo,
We're actually a
Delta,
bit higher.
automated weather observation.
Okay. So that's Needles. I guess it's over there, Needles. Airport. There's the bridge here in front of us. And so the needle sphere must be here. So I guess 3 miles to go? 6 miles to go. And then we're going to pick up our second leg, which we already put in at nav2. So you can see it's already centered almost. So then we can ignore nav1 and just catch that radial. 3 and a bit up north to Boulder City. Again, checking cruising altitude there. Let's double check whether our heading indicator is actually synced and we're not suffering from gyro drift. 3 cross-checked. And 122.72 on the COM1 active is a not really that useful CTEF frequency. So let's tune into a proper one. What's needles? Let me sneak 123.0. 123.0. Oh, 123.0. Swap. No need to do any announcements here. We're far away and we're much high up, so still after my nose up trim we keep descending. Guess the weather has changed here. Mountains, 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 and rivers, rivers, rivers. What would we do in case of an engine out right now? Dip, 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 dip. That's the question of today. Will it blend? Well, first thing off is fly first. Fly the airplane first. So that means getting into a glide that keeps you at a at your best glide speed. At the sky lane it is 75 or something like that. 75 knots. So that's the first thing that you need to do. Second, not troubleshooting your engine, but first have a look out and pick any possible crash or landing site. In our case, that would be needles, I guess. Then, once you picked up your kind of crash procedure, then you're gonna want to have a look at your engine. See if you accidentally cut off your mixture or anything else. So see a airport in front of us, I think, over there. Let's have a look at the sky vector here. So we are now flying this direction. Yeah, I guess it's Sun Valley, and up north there is that Laughlin bullhead. 3200, so we need to have a current altimeter setting there. We'll easily overfly it. Again, we're descending, so some nose up trim. Needles, goodbye. Again, nose up. There you go. 38 minutes since our engine has started. Guys, I've got a question for you. A question that I don't know the answer to, so that's why I'm posing the question. Does anyone know? Well, I need to know two things. One thing is, I've noticed that in the transponder here, you've got a altitude reading. It says 3,800. We're currently not at 3,800. I guess that the air traffic controllers, this is what they see in their radar, this altitude, which doesn't confirm mine. So, does that pose a problem or not? Or is this the the standard pressure altitude or something like that. I don't know what that is. It seems to me that these should be in sync. So the second question is, how can I reset the barometric setting? Reset it here in the transponder. Does anyone know? Let me know. And after shutdown, again guys, I don't have the chat inside because this is a flight test, so as soon as I shut down at Boulder City I will scroll back to the chat to see your answers. But please let me know so I can improve what I'm doing here. But does it make sense that this would be just standard pressure? Because I guess the ATC guys would like to know at what altitude I'm in comparison to, well, I don't know. Well, let me know. Where is that uncontrolled airport? By the way, I love these scenery land textures. Just a personal preference, but I really like them. Nice job, ORBX. Where's that uncontrolled airport? Oh, there it is. Looks cool. Some trees there. There's the ramp. Small. It's a thin runway. So that wouldn't be a great place for a flight school. Although, as a student, you would learn, feel eager to learn quite quickly to remain on center line. A lot of airplanes there parked. Awesome. Very cute. Again, looking forward to ORBX release. Yeah, I've already mentioned this a couple of times, but still. Looking forward ORBX releasing dedicated airports for the Southern California scenery. I'm gonna purchase them all. I've got Aqua Dulce. And I know that the ORBX guys have actually contacted PilotEdge, or even publicly on the forums, I believe. I haven't found that post, but I've heard someone saying that ORBX was asking PilotEdge users, like, hey guys, you are specifically interested in the Southern California area, what airports would you like us to, well, make dedicated scenery for? Which is awesome. So my guess is John Wayne, no doubt. John Wayne is one of the most busiest airports in terms of PilotEdge activity, so that might be cool. And all of those regional airports, I guess. Oceanside, or I don't know. Anyway, ORBX, if you're listening, go. Develop that stuff. I can see an airport there. And it might be that Delta Airport. Also, again, I'm not looking at my altitude. Which is sloppy, I think. Not considering that as a big mess up, but as soon as I'm gonna work with ADC, for example with flight following, and I'm giving up or sharing, letting them know about my cruising altitude, then I should just stick around that cruising altitude. So again, while I was chatting here, I was not monitoring my altitude at all. Updraft here. Yeah, so I guess that's the delta. Let's have a quick look. Near the river, a city, a big chunk here, bend here in the river. Laughlin, 3,200 is the ceiling. Yeah, whoa, what is that? What is that? I saw something on the map here. Yeah, some obstacles. 800 feet. Okay. Some harbor or... There's the runway. Awesome. Well, let's just fly a little bit east of that airport so we can have a closer look. Oh man, I love this flight. Very relaxed, scenic. Never considered flying in this part of Southern California. It's so... man, I'm pushing on that yoke. Go down, man. Look at my attitude here. Guess it's updraft time. And therefore I shouldn't really trim right now, because chances are that updraft will be gone in just a few moments, and then I need to retrim again. So it's better for temporary stuff like this just to use your yoke. But yeah, so we had some visual reference there. So you can see here that bend in the river, the city. So no doubt that is a Delta airport. You can see some other stuff going on there. This is going to be interesting, guys. I guess this is a harbor or some kind of a industrial area. Factories, or I don't know. On cruising altitude. Gallons look good. 7:30 in the morning in California. It's already in the afternoon here in the Netherlands. Oh, now I should retrim, obviously. Interesting to see the difference between our ground speed and our airspeed. Indicated airspeed. So you can see 130 and a bit, and here 114 on our nav 1. There's the airport, guys. So even though that is a Delta airspace, it has a ceiling up to 3,000, what was it? 3,200, so we can easily just overfly it with no one to talk to. No, those aren't factories or a harbor, or they're just hotels. It seems, with a local airport. I'll fly a little bit more to the right there, just to have a closer look at the ramp. Clouds, just a few high up, so we're clear of clouds. That's good. Descending very slowly, so a little bit of a nose up trim there. If that helps. No, it doesn't. So a little bit more. Whoa, updraft. So that wasn't me. Let's have a look outside. Yeah, those are hotels, clearly, with swimming pools and stuff going on. That's the place to be, I guess. The ramp, not much going on there. I love trees to be there. There are not a lot of trees, so it doesn't get high marks in my case. Just some hangars there. A jet. Runway 16. Some cars. No, it's just a regular. There's the tower, I guess. Yeah. Let's catch on that radial. 332 or 331. Still, our Skyline is doing very, very well. Engine sounds great. 2100 RPM, good cylinder head temperature, EGT nicely high up, oil pressure, everything is in the green. Let's do an ADAS reading, by the way. Just to have an idea what our altimeter setting should be. 119.82. 119. Oh, let me switch my Saitek panel here. 119.82. Swap. And let's have a listen. 119.825. Okay, so apparently... Oh, it's AWAS. Never mind. Not implemented in Flight Sim. I am curious though to current altimeter setting. Make sure that we're not going to fly into that mountaintop, by the way. So we're just sticking a little bit to the right, even though we need to go to the left to get that radial. What's a next ADAS that we could pick up? Or a sauce? Well, that's Boulder. And it's also AWAS. Well, then we've got Las Vegas, far, far away. ADAS. Henderson. Well, let's pick that one up or set it already. 120.775. 120. My gosh, 120. I so easily forget these frequencies. It's silly. 775. 120.775. Swap. Oh. Well, obviously we don't have a reading. It's behind that mountain range, I guess. In the distance. I love to fly in Flight Sim. I hope you do too. Don't know where that was coming from, but still. I mean, this is the most relaxing hobby you can ever find in life. Just flying a Cessna Skyline, developing flight skills, and well, don't get me wrong, I know, no time to get lazy, especially as I'm descending again. But in the next stage of training, it's going to get more complicated. I guess just incorporating ADC in terms of just mere flying. In this first stage of uncontrolled airspace, I've learned how to do takeoffs, landings, steep turns, stalls, arrivals, departures. There was a lot of stuff that was part of the initial stage of my training. Thank you for following, Chris3024. Thank you, man. Welcome on board. So yeah, so it doesn't mean that in the second stage of training, the next chapter, of my private pilot license training here in Flight Sim, that will take as much time, because if you visit uncertifiedpilot.com and go to my training program there, you will see that the second stage of training, even though that is then in the setting of Delta airports, it still covers traffic patterns, short-range flights and long-distance flights, which just build upon or rely on the same skills that I've already developed here in the first stage. So I'm expecting that I can progress through my training much more rapidly. It's more like a learning curve in the next few episodes. So I don't think I need that many episodes to complete stage 2 of my training. Catching that radial. Again, let me prepare in the meantime our arrival to have a better idea of what we're doing. So I guess we're currently around here in this space. So we're gonna fly. Oh, didn't want to do that. Catch that radial, fly over this terrain if we can. 3,500, 4,800. So, well, perhaps. Maybe we need to fly a little bit more to the right here and get a window here where we can fly through. Because if you look outside the window, that terrain doesn't allow us to just go straight ahead. Let me cross-check my heading indicator. 3333. Double checked. Okay. So perhaps we need to climb a bit with the terrain. Leaning a little bit, tiny bit. For that EGT. Anyway, yeah, Sky Vector. So we need to climb over that mountain ridge. Then Boulder City. So obviously we've got a Bravo airspace, the Las Vegas airspace, on top of us, starting at 7,000 in this sector, 8,000 in this one, 6,000 and 4,500. So we could say 4,500 as a safe measure would be our top ceiling. Well, that's fine, because as we're gonna arrive here, we're gonna go to 1,000 feet AGL. So we're just flying underneath that Bravo. It's no problem at all. So how are we gonna approach? Well, again, I'm always concerned with drone activity. So Nordo, traffic that isn't on radio, doesn't do radio announcements. That is drone activity mostly on PilotEdge. That is flying that airport and using particular runways, because even though I can pick my own, if drone traffic is using other runways, then I'm in trouble, obviously. If I land on a runway where others take off in the opposite direction, that's not a good thing. So I'm again looking outside here, guys, and I think we need to just climb a bit. Doesn't look safe just to keep on flying like this. So trimming up a bit, and perhaps increasing the power also a bit. Okay. Yeah, so I'd rather overfly the airport first rather than go for a straight in. What was the runway already that we would like to pick? 33. Boulder City 1533. Yeah, that's the short one. There's also a longer one. We've got COM2 enabled, waiting for that ATIS to come in, but we need to get over that mountain ridge, I guess. Yeah, so 3-3. So let me already set my heading bug to 3-3 so I don't forget the current heading. So it seems like we can just do a straight in, but I'm not going to, because I'm curious to see what those possible drone traffic is doing over there. So we're gonna go like this, midfield, and then I'm going to make a left turn, then right teardrop to enter the left downwind for that runway 33, then base, and then final. That's the idea. I've done that a couple of times before, works great. Just to have a look of the uncontrolled airport to see what the drone traffic is doing, if there is any. And if there is any, we might need to change that procedure. This one is based on the fact that we can actually land on 33, but if the drone traffic is using the other direction, that we need to change our plans too. So we can do that once we fly on top of the airport. We can then decide what we can do. So that's the idea. Again, we need to climb, guys. Let's increase my power here. Leaning a bit more. I haven't seen any other traffic other than on the ground on that uncontrolled airport that we flew. I am going to catch that radial right now. So that first part up to Boulder City, 7,000 ceiling I can see on Sky Vector. Or 8,000, so we're absolutely fine there. It does require, or I feel more comfortable if I do have a current altimeter setting. So I'm hoping that once we are beyond this mountain stuff, we pick up the ATIS of Henderson, which is 120.775. Yeah, it's already set in the COM2 active. Cross-checked our compass. Okay. And after the once we're behind or on top of that mountain, I'm also gonna turn on my landing lights. Looks good. Again, I'm on level. I guess I need to climb a bit more. Deserty. Dunes. Need to watch that movie again. Dunes. There's the old one in the 1980s, which was fun. But there's also a remake, I guess in 2003 or something like that, which is also pretty cool. Engine in the green, everything looks good. He saw that it was good. Sip of water. Okay. Let's see how many viewers we have. 20. That's cool, guys. Welcome on board. Again, for those who haven't hit that follow button, hit it. It's very encouraging for me to know that you guys are enjoying the channel. I need to continue flying here on Twitch. And also, if you follow, you'll get an instant notification by email once I am live on Twitch, so you can jump on board from the start, which is cool. Now, I guess 7,000 would be okay. Radial is a little bit right of us. Now, at this point, I'm expecting ATIS to come in. You can see some kind of a... Oh, there's a lot of scenery over there. Perhaps that's already Las Vegas. Las Vegas, guys. I've never been to Las Vegas. I've been in the real world, but not in flight sim. Let alone the new ORBX scenery. Now, as Boulder City is probably nearby, I don't need to climb up that much, so I should already start my descent, really. And let me see on Sky Vector if there are some visual references that we can use to determine where Boulder City is. We've got a lake there, which probably is a salt lake, so a white one in scenery. The city, no highways. The city, a lake there. And we just keep on flying that radial, and we just should overfly that airport, Boulder City, anyway. Oh. So yeah, in the front you can see that salted lake. You can see some scenery over there to the left. Let's enable TrackIR here. Click. Yeah. In the distance. Gonna start my descent right now. So that means that the airport will probably something be around there. And also, because we've now passed this mountaintop or ridge, it means that there is Bravo airspace on top of us. We're now flying underneath it. Thank you for following, Frankje. Sounds like a Dutch name. Welcome on board. Again, descending. I'm going to turn on my landing lights right now just to make sure that I'm visible. Catching that needle here. That will get me right across Boulder City. What is the frequency of Boulder City? 122.7 on CTAF. So 122.7 swap. No ATIS yet. Still, we've got that on. 120.77. 120.77, yeah. ATIS, well, I don't know. Now, let's have a look if we see some scenery popping up. In that respect, I like X-Plane more. Here in FSX or Prepared, I'm flying Prepared version 3.1. As you can see, the scenery just pops out. It's so distinct from the scenery that you can easily spot it. Well, in X-Plane, that's not the case, which is more realistic to me. I've also been flying on X-Plane, which has more drawbacks to me personally, but still, I like that more. Nice descent. I can see some scenery in front of us. Well, let's say we're 20 miles away. Boulder City traffic, Skyline Papa Hotel Tango in iMac is about 10 miles south of the airport at 5,000. We're inbound for a full stop. We're going to overfly the field first to determine our active runway. Boulder City. Just being honest there. Yeah, I can already see some runways there in the distance. I can already see runway 33, I guess. Just to make sure that we're not going to... that we mistaken that airfield for another airfield. Let me have a peek here on... Yeah, it's the only airfield around here on Sky Vector, as you can see. So it should be that, and there's a city lying behind it, so that's good too. So 1,000 feet, and the airport is 2,200, so 3,200 is going to be the altitude, traffic pattern altitude. So I'm not going to overfly at 3,200, but let's say 4,000 or so. So that in any case, we're not going to hit anyone. Keep on that descent, nice EGT, engine is good. Keeping our cowl flaps closed until we leave the active runway after landing. There's that lake. There's some other stuff going on there, other airports. And Las Vegas is behind that mountain stuff, which you can see here on Sky Vector. So behind those mountain ranges, it's over there. Well, no one has made an announcement on the Boulder City CTEF so far, so I guess no one is there. We will do another announcement once we're very nearby. And as you can see already, we already looked at Sky Vector. You can indeed see that this runway 33 is actually the smaller runway. Let me have a look at Sky Vector, what the other runway is doing. That's the 0927, and it's a right turn for 09. Okay, so in case we need to swap runways, I need to be sure what is going on. So 4,000. Boulder City traffic, Skyline Papa Hotel Tango India Mike is 3 miles south of the airport at 3,900. We're going to overfly midfield to determine the active runway at Boulder City. So I'm going to stick around here, somewhere around here. Full mixture, I guess. Well, not really. We're at a density altitude. I guess we don't need full prop full in. Hangars, ramps, looking cool. I don't see any traffic so far. I'm still descending. Now I'm gonna just keep on this altitude because I don't want to fly on traffic pattern altitude yet. I haven't seen any drone traffic so far around us. So far nothing. One notch of flaps. Okay. So I guess it's going to be 3-3. Or we can do a teardrop, although I don't see any traffic here, so perhaps we can just do a regular turn here. We're now flying upwind on the 3-3. So what we can do is, I guess, just a crosswind turn. Boulder City traffic, Skyline Papa Hotel Tango, India Mike is turning left crosswind runway 33 for a full stop, Boulder City. There we go, a little bit of more nose up trim. Let's stay around 90 knots. There's the heading bug. So here we are on crosswind. Again, doesn't seem like crosswind to me. 24, 24. We are cross-checked. Let's make that downwind turn. Boulder City traffic, Skyline Papa Hotel Tango, and Mike is turning left downwind runway 33 for a full stop. Boulder. Didn't seem to me like we're actually flying in 90 degree. Or perhaps that's just me. Downwind. Well, we're parallel now, so. Okay. Starting our descent already gradually. 1 notch of flaps was already in. Again, propofol. Well, make sure can we remain like this. We're a little bit more high up. I'll just go full, I guess. Full rich. Landing lights are on. Let's trim up a bit more. Let's go. Watch that speed. Boulder City traffic scanning. Papa Hotel Tango and Mike is turning left base. Runway 33 full stop. Boulder City. Okay. Should be descending a bit, but I thought I was a little bit too low. Second notch flaps. Yeah, I'm still a bit high up. Again, I don't see any other traffic. So not on the runway. Let's not use power, but just glide down quicker because we're still high up. No one here. Boulder City traffic, Skyline Papa Hotel Tango, and Mike is turning final runway 33 for a full stop. Boulder City. Again, I can see some traffic there on the ramp. I'm hoping that that guy is not going to take off from that crossing runway. If so, we need to do a go around. Okay, there we go. A little bit more nose up trim. Allow that airspeed to bleed off. A little bit more nose up. Nose up, nose up, nose up, nose up. Oh. Very sensitive yoke today. Remove the throttle. Looking at the fore end of the runway. Well, still a bit harsh. Looking good. Flaps up. Pulling on the yoke. Aerodynamic braking here. And we are on Boulder City. So leaning already a bit for ground operations. Oh wow. Boulder City traffic, scanning Papa Hotel Tango, Mike is clear, runway 33, Boulder City. I guess it isn't an airplane, but some kind of an antenna or something like that, I don't know. Parking brakes set, 1000, already leaned a bit, transponder set to on, landing lights off, strobe lights off, cowl flaps open. Let's open a window just to be cool here, figuratively and literally. And parking brakes released. Let's go to the ramp. Okay guys, well as soon as I shut down I will enable my webcam and have a look at your suggestions and tips and answers, and greet you guys obviously. If you have any things that you've noticed during my flight that you thought, hey Tim, you should improve on that, or things that I got wrong, or anything else that I can do to improve my flying, please let me know. I'm not only here to stream my training, I'm also here to find you, to meet you, and to get some coaching here, so please don't hesitate to give me any tips on how I can improve my flying for the next episode. That's what the Uncertified Pilot is really all about. Oh nice, looks cute guys, don't you think? Well, it is tempting to just park our airplane here, but I guess this isn't a small aircraft kind of parking spot. It's only for the bigger ones, the medium ones like those, the parachute kind of airplanes, the jets. Imagine that in season 3 or season 4 of the Uncertified Pilot, doing more intercontinental or longer distance flight with jets. Hoping that A2A Simulations then has released a jet with their extensive realism stuff. I guess we need to park over there. Makes more sense to me. I do hear engines running. Oh, there's an, yeah, it was an airplane. It's, again, guys, you can see X-plane versus prepared. You can see terrain differences, and that stuff then happens. Still, I love PilotEdge. There we go. Let's park it in between that Cessna. Beach Baron, I guess. Here we go. And let's make the gentle turn here. Differential braking. Whoop. And something like there. Oh yeah. Park and brakes. Set. 1 hour, 21 minutes. Transponder set to standby. Avionics off. I'm not going to do that magnetic test because I think I'm actually damaging the engine more. Just instinctively. I don't know why. There's still discussion in the real world about that, but I'm not going to do those anymore. So, cut off. Prop. There it is. Ignition switch to off, generator off, batteries off, beacon can remain on. Let's close the cowl flaps. No bugs and other stuff going in. Crossfeed stuff. Doors open. Releasing my seat belts. Also here in my office chair. And we are going to put on the pitot tube cover. Bloop. There it is. Wheel chocks, and do we have tie down spots? I guess so. Tie down spots. And finally, control wheel lock. Guys, here on Boulder City, let me just switch themes here. Boom, boom. Yeah, there we are. Hi. Did you think I passed? I think I did. I was only sloppy on the cruising altitudes, which is something that I should really pay more attention to. So I totally agree with any one of you who is suggesting that. But I think that I did pretty great. Good engine management, good ATC announcements, good control. Yeah, I'm really pleased. Again, cruising altitudes, I should be more aware of that, so I should improve on that. But I don't think that I failed the flight test today. I hope you think that I've passed too. Stefan, welcome guys. I'm just going to scroll back to the chat. Disgraced, welcome. Thank you for watching. Let me see. I'm particularly curious about that transponder question that I asked about. So whether you should set your barometric setting in your transponder or update that one along with your altimeter setting here in the instruments, because my reading on the transponder was an altitude reading was quite different, like a 500 feet difference or something like that, in comparison to my altimeter instrument here. So should I? Disgraced pilot, always trust his answers. Disgraced pilot. Your transponder sends pressure altitude reading to them. ATC applies a correction to that to know your actual altitude. So that means, if I get you right, you shouldn't change your transponder barometric pressure, because at ATC facility they change or do some calculations on top of that to know what your actual altitude is. Is that correct? Let me know, guys. Please confirm with chat if that's the right answer. So I shouldn't be concerned about that transponder setting, and it is all already set perfectly like that. Let me go through Photoshop. Yeah, so Stefan, yeah. So what I did is A2A Simulations as part of the package that they sell. If you look at the, I don't know if it's in the software package, the download package, but on the forums of A2A Simulations, there are a lot of guys there who repaint the exterior textures and the interior textures here of the Skyline and the Skyhawk and all the stuff that they sell. And they've also made available a couple of Photoshop files of the exterior and the interior. And you can just load them into Photoshop, and well, with some help on the forums, there are some instructions there. You can just Photoshop around and create your own airport, your own airplane, interior or exterior. So for me, I've made this more leathery like. I really like the grayish kind of Cessna layout, so I made it much more grayish, metallic like. I made the knobs look a bit more weary, some scratches and stuff I put in. You can see some sticker stuff, really to give it more like a used state, I guess. I also put in that picture that I was mentioning. I changed the manual, other textures, and you just need to be a little bit handy with Photoshop to learn how to do that. I was already knowledgeable of Photoshop and how to do that stuff, but that's it, and you can just load them in, and there you are. It's not that difficult, and you can actually just upload a picture on the A2A Simulations forum of your preferred aircraft and say to those guys, please, would you like to make me a, well, and a couple of them are so enthusiastic, so interested, and so capable of doing those repaints that they can actually do so and just create your own unique repaint. So yeah, that's pretty fun, I guess. And that also sounds for the exterior, also counts for the exterior part. Stefan, I know that A2A Simulations does not use FSUIPC. True. And I need a virtual cockpit without cockpit, if you see what I mean. Oh, yeah, I like to keep visible the propeller and wings only. I don't know if that's possible, Stefan. I don't think you can just remove the cockpit there and only see the propeller. But I can see the use of that. If you are displaying your instruments and other stuff on other displays, then it doesn't make sense to see your instrument twice as part of the virtual cockpit and in your secondary screen. So you would preferably only see the propeller stuff in front of you and the instruments on the second. I don't think that's possible, but it's a good comment, really, for the developers to know. I don't know. I don't think if that's related to A2A Simulations. What you could do, however, is using EZDOK, move forward your viewpoint behind the dashboard. So just like something like this. And that will work, right? Then you can see the cowling, you can see the propeller, and then you can just use the instruments on that secondary screen, which might be a solution for you. Let me see, guys. Good job. Thank you, guys. Asking the forums. I mean, I love you guys watching my channel. It's so weird that I'm flying here and you guys are really encouraging me to keep on flying. It's very, very cool. I never thought that so many of you were interested in my flights, and I'm just getting started. Cannot wait to move on to the next stage of training. Again, scrolling back to the chat to see if there's any stuff that I need to mention. If you think I forgot something, let me know. Yoke correction during taxi. Oh yeah, that was something that I mentioned, and you guys probably were talking about that. Yoke correction for wind during taxi is elevator neutral and aileron into the wind when headwind. No, Stefan. No. No. If you've got a headwind, then you should push on the yoke. You should move underneath, kind of like virtually point underneath the wind. That's what I saw on many YouTube movies, in real world YouTube movies, student flying. check on that. I don't know. I think that the elevator should be pushed forward with a headwind and aileron into the wind when headwind. I don't know what you mean with that, aileron into the wind. But if you've got a crosswind, you should turn with the aileron towards the wind. And if you got a headwind, then you should push in on the yoke. If you got a tailwind, then you shouldn't use the yoke correction, I believe. So then you've got a neutral position. And that's about it, I thought. Yeah, please do check. Let me know. Tailwind is elevator down. No, that isn't. And aileron opposite direction compared to where the wind comes from. No, exactly into the wind. Disgrace, Stefan is right. So to summarize, so it means that if you've got a headwind, neutral, and but disgrace, if the wind comes from my left, I should point my aileron to the left, right? Because if I turn it to the right, then to me it makes much more sense then that the wind would blow under my wing and just then it tops me. So it makes much more sense to counter that possible turning to point into the wind. Take a look at the POH. They all recommend what Stefan is saying. Okay. Okay, guys, thank you. I will have a look. Probably in the A2A Simulations manual it is also explained. So I was using the complete opposite. But somehow that's weird to me. But again, thanks. I will have a look. I'm using the wrong kind of crosswind corrections there, which is pretty important, as we saw at AV, where there was a strong surface wind. Okay, check. That's homework. This guys basically need to set the control surfaces to spoil the lift. Yeah. So I thought that means that. Yeah. So if you got a headwind. Yeah, so I guess the danger is when you've got a headwind and you push in on the yoke, you might tip down or something like that. But the same would be true with a tailwind. With a tailwind, I would also say if you then pull on the yoke, or then you would push on the yoke, so then the tail might be pointed down, I guess, with that wind coming. Well, I will have a look and read on that manual, and I will just follow the manual. So thank you so much, guys, for letting me know. And I will summarize that in the next episode for the others, for you guys who are watching too, to have the right answer. Is there anything else? So taxi, crosswind correction, I will have a look at. Cruising altitude, I was sloppy with that. Anything else that I missed, or any discussions that you guys had about flying that I could improve on? Ailerons. A2A, textures, Photoshop. No, that's about it, I guess. That's about it. Well, guys, thank you again. This was episode 24. What's the time? Yeah, 5 o'clock. I was considering doing another flight, but no, it's already getting time for dinner, or making dinner. This was episode 24. Again, I'm very, very pleased, not only with this flight, so I think I passed for this long distance flight. There were a couple of minor things, at least in my opinion, I need to improve of. Those crosswind corrections are a bit more, well, severe, but I think not really that fundamental or basic to the particular stage of training that I'm currently focused on. So that's something that I can just easily improve, and that's it. Not really something really structurally. Well, I don't think that is really messed up the flight test of the day. I think I'm really ready to move on to the next level in terms of navigation and PilotEdge. I did a good job combining visual references with radio navigation and that kind of stuff. But what I'd like to say is what I'm mostly pleased of is the fact that my internet connection didn't stop. So apparently what the problem was my iPad streaming for flight to my computer through Wi-Fi, and then my computer streaming to Twitch through the cable. And somehow that Wi-Fi connection, that mirroring activity was somehow disrupting Twitch or XSplit. So no dropped frames at all. So wow, my gosh, that's great. So I'm happy that my stream is stable again, and I know what the issue is. Still, I'm looking for any software out there that enables me to just plug my iPad through USB and then just get my mirroring image of my iPad screen just through the cable. And there seems only to be one tool, iTools it is called, but it has a frame rate of 1 frame per second, so that's not really helpful. So up to now I will just stick to SkyVector like we did in this flight, just to get that stream stable again. Then there was the topic about entering the pattern. Someone had a valuable remark on that. Can you repeat, Dan? Let me scroll back to see if I can find it. T-Craft is saying something about that. Work on stabilized approaches and we'll get good landings. On the Cessna 182, try to be 75 knots on final and leave a little power on to the wheels touch. Okay, so I'm actually pulling on that power just before I touch down, so my airplane drops down. Okay, and 75 knots, I believe it's on final 75. A short final 65, and until you drop down it's like 55 or something like that. But yeah, a steady approach is really valuable. Entering the pattern. Let me have a quick look, guys. Disgraced. I'm not sure that's a great way to enter the circuit. You should be flying on top of departing traffic and descending into them. You could be flying. Oh, okay. Okay, so the particular procedure to enter the traffic pattern that I did in this episode and I did a couple of episodes before isn't actually safe. Okay, because the potential is you could. I overflew the field a few hundred feet above the traffic pattern altitude. I was looking for traffic to see what the active runway was, to then descend to traffic pattern altitude and enter the traffic pattern. But, well, there could be a potential danger that there was actually traffic flying beneath me and I could just fly on top of them. I know. Still, I don't know where I got that procedure from, but somehow it got into my head looking at a few YouTube messages, YouTube movies around. But I noticed, Disgrace, that you've mentioned that a couple of times before, that you said to me that that midfield overfly procedure isn't a really safe one. So I should get that out of my head, I guess, and just use the regular 45-degree entry. But I like to make sure what the drones are doing on the airfield, and I guess it was. I can look that up. I will Twitter that movie in just a sec on YouTube, where that guy said, well, in uncontrolled airports is good practice to just first overfly the field and have an idea what the conditions of the field are, if there's any other traffic, and to then enter the traffic pattern. So perhaps I could overfly the field first, but not do a teardrop and enter that left downwind or right downwind or whatever, but overfly the airfield for a couple of miles and then return to enter just on the 45-degree. I don't know. It makes sense to me to overfly the uncontrolled airport first to have an idea what is going on. FAA recommends entering 45-degree. Yeah, I know. You've already mentioned it a couple of times before, Disgraced. Yeah. I know. You can overfly the field, but come back out and enter. Yeah. So that's okay. So that teardrop kind of stuff right on top of the airport is not a safe procedure because you can potentially, land on top of other aircraft that are in the pattern. Okay, so I need to get rid of that out of my head. I thought that was a good procedure. Did that a couple of times ago in previous episodes. So rather stick to that 45-degree. Yeah, I remember you saying that a couple of times before. Okay, good. Thank you. I will improve on that in the next episodes. The final due when's takeoff? I've already taken off. We just landed. I'm just about to stop the stream. And thank you guys for joining me today, episode 24. So this was a long distance cross-country flight. Next up is a similar kind of flight in this area, but then by night. And by completing that one, hopefully, I've, in my terms, completed the first stage of my flight training, flying in uncontrolled airspace. And then we can move on to ATC, the second stage, stage 2. You can look at visit uncertifiedpilot.com for a structured outline of my training. And there I will finally contact ATC and start visiting Delta airports and Charlie airports and all that good stuff. So it's going to be much more interactive. We'll also change my schedule in terms of streaming, because I need to stream then in times where PilotEdge is live, like right now. So here in the Netherlands that would be evening times, which shouldn't be a big problem. But then again, that's coming up. So guys, thank you so much for joining me here on board and suggesting to me things that I can do to improve my flying. Really appreciate it. Also hit that follow button if you're enjoying the channel to get an instant notification when I'm streaming, so you can jump on board right away and learn as well how you can improve your flying here in Flight Simulator. So again, thank you so much. Happy flights and blue skies. Bye, guys.
I'm passing through 500, 715. 715, 134.125.